What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Sports Podcast Show. Your host, Mike, um, back on podcast. Just do a read and react sports podcast episode. Just going through some tweets and picked out some significant tweets that stood out to me, and then I'm gonna talk about Game One before heading into Game Two, which is tonight. uh, in San Antonio. The Knicks, of course, having a one game one and a very entertaining, but also telling first game of the NBA Finals. So, and starting with that, I think first of all, Game Seven between OKC and the Spurs was a very once again classic matchup, great matchup. It was a great series. Really enjoyed watching that series. Uh, and Wemby obviously being very uh, in that series, at the end of the series, having won in it. And I thought that was refreshing and shows that he cares, shows he's passionate. It also shows his youth. It shows that, this is new for them, it's new for their team. This being a rematch now with the Knicks for the um, as they won the in tournament. Uh, the Spurs, they have this opportunity to get some revenge and get some get back from the Knicks winning that game. Um, Both have come in on different, of course, circumstances. The Knicks are on fire, um, having only lost two games this entire playoffs on this winning streak. And the Spurs coming off an emotional game seven, game one. My take on just from what I saw um, was that the Spurs kind of looks very similar to how Boston plays. They were kind of relying a whole lot on the three ball, not a whole lot of mid range. They were missing a lot of 3 point shots, and I felt like they should have drove the ball more. I think one thing that is clearly obvious is that the first few minutes of the game, they didn't seem uh, they seemed caught in the moment, which is natural for a young team. Not to say that they weren't ready for the moment; they very well could have easily won that game. But I put the loss overall for the Spurs on the coach. Of course, with the Keldon Johnson playing 8 minutes, he's just six man. You got Dylan Harper sitting in clutch minutes in the final minutes, not even in the game. You got De'Aaron Fox, who really throughout this playoffs hasn't really had a standout game, and he's your max player. He's a player that's played the most. He's your vet. He's your leader. He's supposed to be the one that's scoring the most points. He's supposed to be your Jalen Brunson type player. Uh, he's supposed to be your leader, um, vocally, in all categories. And quite frankly, he's playing below that. And I think he recognized that. He kind of spoke to it a little bit, talking about he had to take sacrifices. We talk about Castle more than we do Fox. We're talking about Dylan Harper more than we talk about Fox. And in that game one, Fox came up short in a major way. Uh, right now, I really only trust three or four players to shoot the three ball when it comes to the three ball. Everyone else should just stick to either driving the ball or either driving the ball or stick to the mid range. So as far as the three goes, Dylan Harper, I trust to shoot the three. Wimby, obviously, I trust him to shoot the three. Champagny, he can shoot the three. Keldon Johnson, I trust him to shoot the three. Um, but Fox, Vassell, and Castle, they need to stick to driving the ball and sticking to the mid range, but more specifically, driving the ball and drawing fouls because I don't. You have to be able to get Jalen Brunson in some type of foul trouble. Cat Williams, not Cat Williams, Carl Anthony Towns, Cat. You can get him in foul trouble easy, and Cat had a great game. He had a really good game defensively. I was surprised and shocked at how he was just blown by Wimby. That's a problem. That is a major problem. I think we'll see more of that in game two. But he was able to guard Wimby straight up. Uh, Hart got in foul trouble early, so maybe that was the reason why we saw Cat on Wimby more. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what the real game plan was. If Hart is able to stay on the floor, but even Hart had a quiet game of having 15 rebounds. But he was a star in his role and was a major impact during the game. And that's one thing I do like about both of these teams. Their guards rebound the ball extremely well. One thing about the Spurs, I expected to see a little bit of zone um, during the series. Uh, just not not the whole game, obviously, but just to slow things down, kind of give the Knicks offense different looks. Because from time to time they'll go on a streak of missing shots, and that's when the Spurs can get out, run, capitalize, get to the free throw line, throw lobs to Wemby, such and such. Um, we'll see if that's an adjustment that Mitch makes. The other thing is just setting screens for Wemby. It's clearly obvious that when Wemby is out of the game, the Knicks can do whatever they want to do. Uh, when Wemby is not on, and I think they're gonna have to. They're going to have to set some screens for Wemby to get easy shots in the paint, or else they're going to be in trouble. Um, Wemby can be aggressive, just not being hesitant and shooting shots, but they're gonna need an extra big or somebody to come in. I don't understand why they aren't playing Olenek more or Plumlee or even Biz more in a too big lineup. I think they may have to start doing that just to set screens just to help Wimby out because he's getting fouled a lot when he gets the ball in the paint, when he's boxing out, when he's making moves towards the rim. He's getting fouled, and that's where Wimby makes a lot of turnovers too. When he's in ISO and he's not back to the basket or in the process of dunking, inside the paint. So they need to make his job a whole lot easier. Mitch does, the coaching staff need to make his job easier for him to score. Um, I mean, he had 20 some odd points, 12 rebounds. He definitely had an impact in the game on a defensive standpoint, I mean, it just seemed like the Knicks' confidence was extremely low when it came to shooting the ball when Wemby was in the game. I disagreed a whole lot with Charles Barkley's analysis after the game, um, talking about assertiveness and like just how he's soft and all that kind of stuff. I completely disagree. I mean, we're talking about a 7'5" Kevin Durant type player. He's not Shaq. It's not like he can just back down anybody. Um, but he can shoot over everyone. So I think if Wemby can slow the game down, he can dictate the pace of the game in the post if he gets the ball and just shoots over everybody that's guarding him. Um, but I think they need to make the. I think the Spurs, if they're going to win this series, they obviously got to stick to the fundamentals. Don't turn the ball over. Make your free throws. Uh, Play good defense. Switch it up with a little bit of zone. Give them different looks. Brunson's going to get his. Um, One thing that I thought about what with watching Brunson was, is the narrative now going to be that he isn't on the same level as SGA, or is he better than SGA? Because both of them, in reality, somewhat play the same. They're kind of the same kind of player, but Brunson just a little bit bigger, and SGA is taller, but Brunson just a little bit shorter. But both of them are effective. Both of them flop. Both of them foul bait. Both of them make tough shots, even well defended. So I think that debate will come probably next year, and Jalen Brunson would definitely be in the conversation. I think for MVP next year, no matter the outcome of this NBA Finals. Uh, this Finals for the Spurs is definitely an experience that will help the team grow, win or lose. Um, it's going to light a fire in that organization to just continue to get better. And I think other veterans or pieces are going to be added for years to come to that team to continue to compete for championships. But I think for the future going forward, it's going to go through OKC. It's going to go through the Spurs going forward as long as SGA and Wemby are healthy. So my pick for the finals was the Spurs in six, and I'm gonna stick to that prediction. I do believe the Spurs are going to bounce back tonight and win game two. I hope they win game two. Um, Despite being just all in on the Grizzlies, the Spurs are just a fun team to watch. And Knicks fans can be insufferable. I kind of found it quite odd that the majority were picking the Knicks to win the finals after OKC beat the defending Oklahoma City Thunder, just and Oklahoma City Thunder having one of the best players ever, of course, in SGA that we've seen, and OKC just overall being one of the top defensive teams in the league. And in these playoffs, the Knicks, their defense and their um, offense are just clicking on all cylinders. So it just goes to show the difference between the playoffs and the regular season. when it comes to teams. Um, so we'll see how the series checks out. But going to the read and react, these are some tweets, some posts that kind of stuck out to me during the week, and plan to talk more in regards to the finals. We're going to talk more about the finals again, probably in a day or two. So make sure you subscribe, comment, interact to this podcast, and share. And I'd love to have your feedback. Is always appreciated. But these are just random tweets that were posted on X that I want to just talk about. The first being the AJ Brown trade. AJ Brown, wide receiver, Eagles wide receiver, former Eagles wide receiver, traded to the New England Patriots. We all kind of knew this was coming. We thought it would be during the draft, but it finally happened. And it's not about compensation. That's not what I want to talk about, but just the backdrop of Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown and their relationship, the alleged love triangle, whatever was going on, and then not only that, but AJ Brown allegedly um, being uh, a distraction to his team in the locker room, and just overall causing a lot of friction. And which, looking at the Eagles, it just makes a lot of sense because they were winning games during the regular season, but it just every win felt like a loss because AJ Brown either wasn't involved, not getting the ball, was sitting on the sideline, sulking, reading a book, arguing, whatever. But his attitude just didn't seem to be with the team. Anywho, he said, "This is," and I quote, "Nothing happened. People just grow apart. Hurts wasn't even invited to Brown's wedding. Yada yada yada." So the obvious friction um, between AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts is all coming out now, and quite honestly, I kind of wish that kind of just stayed behind closed doors. It's ironic that all of these things all of a sudden are just coming out now that AJ Brown is moved on to the Patriots. And not only has he moved on to the Patriots, but he's extremely happy and not afraid to express his happiness about being in New England. And I think in this situation, it's just good that all parties are moved on. Ironically, Mike Vrabel has his own personal issues involving women, and AJ Brown, he having his alleged issues revolving women in his life. So they seem like a match made in heaven, I guess, in New England. But we'll see how AJ Brown plays out with Drake May and that football team. I think they offensively become a better team with AJ there, highly motivated AJ. So we'll see how New England and their season goes. They start the season with a tough schedule starting out. So we'll see how they play, and we'll see how the Eagles play. They have a very deep wide receiver room already. A lot of youth, and they got Devonta Smith, who is now ascended to the one. So we'll see how the Eagles play this season. Will it be less drama? Uh, I'm pretty sure it will. Um, Jalen Hurts always keeps it professional. So we'll see how that goes. The second tweet involving Steph Curry. Steph Curry will reportedly earn a massive 1.19 billion in his new 10-year contract with Lee Ning and um, the shoe company instead of Nike, instead of Jordan, of uh, Puma, and all these other ascending shoe companies. It's my charger there. Um, he signs this huge, massive deal, which allows him to be national and international. So I'm curious to see what the his shoe design is going to be. I think it opens doors for a lot of NBA players, and of course, is a huge marketing for him personally. And his Under Armour deal was a $300 million deal, 12-year contract, and so now he's quadruple, triple doubled it to a 1.19 billion 10-year contract. So shout out to Steph Curry, man. He's doing big things. All right, the other tweet from Adam Segoria. A Knicks friend with tickets at the finals. Last row of our section is selling at 14,000 each right now. A few for sale for 25,000 each. I pointed out this tweet simply because in this economy that we're in right now, because everyone is talking about high gas prices, everyone is talking about inflation, that we find a way to the games, to these venues, these high expensive venues. I am perfectly fine sitting at home, like every average person, and watching the game. I promise. As much as the finals will be fun to attend, that is a lot of money for a single game. We're talking about 14,000, 25,000 for a seat. I mean, either you're taking out a loan or something, or I don't know, a firm or what paid, putting I don't know. I'm just curious to know what each individual in the Madison Square Garden uh do do for a living, because that is outrageous. And all over the news, there are people that are struggling, and I'm not criticizing at all, but you know, if we're struggling that bad, because there are people that are struggling. I mean, 25,000, $14,000 for a ticket, that is super expensive. I couldn't justify that amount. Anyway, I just thought that was a crazy, remarkable tweet. Another tweet: the Warriors are a live option for LeBron James. They're planning to offer him with 15 million non-tax player mid-level exemption. Steph Curry is basically uh, recruiting LeBron. This is let's see a quote. Lead sources telling us at Clutch points that the Warriors are very much open to pursuing LeBron James, and they plan on do this offseason and free agency. LeBron James, at the end of his career, he can still contribute at a high level. We saw that in the playoffs. Pairing him with Steph Curry, not only Steph Curry, but Porzingis, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond, it's going to be something that the Warriors look to pursue over the next few weeks. It seemed very doubtful. It seemed a low percentage, but now it's kind of questionable. Now there's going to be some, let's say, legs to this. That same source told us that Steph is planning on meeting and talking with LeBron about potentially joining the Warriors over the course of the next few weeks leading up to free agency. I think, for months before this season started, I've been saying that LeBron needs to sign with the Knicks, that he should request a trade to, and um, of course, that never happened. It didn't happen. Knicks are in the finals, and LeBron could have been in that framework, in that picture, if I believe, if he signed up to if he signed if he signed for the Knicks. So to hear this, that he is looking, or that he's going to be recruited by Golden State, I think is real. LeBron James is a free agent now, so anything goes. Anything goes now with LeBron James and his recruitment. Um, I mean, shit, who knows? I mean, that lineup would present a challenge for anybody if they were all healthy. All of them are up in age at the tail end of their careers. Kerr just recently signed a 2-year extension to stay, and which will more than likely be the last of his coaching, at least at Golden State. And it will be exciting entertainment factor if that were to happen. Next, the Grizzlies. A lot of talk about uh, the Grizzlies and their number 3 pick and Boozer, with OKC losing in the fashion that they did, with Chet Holmgren basically being a no-show in Game 7. The criticism that Chet received from his no-show, he had a horrific game, horrible series. Really, he only had really one solid game where OKC did end up winning, but um, a lot of people are already, pretty much excommunicated him off the team and have put him in trade scenarios all over the league. Uh, you win so many games with him, and then he doesn't show up. Has a very, very poor performance, and now you want to trade him. And now you want to trade everybody that was not really involved or didn't have a good series in that matchup, in the matchup versus the Spurs. There's even a trade proposal, or yeah, a trade proposal out there involving Jalen Williams to the Memphis Grizzlies for picks, for the third pick, for basically their picks in the draft. and Isaiah Hartenstein being involved in there as well, uh, which I think is crazy. I don't think the Grizzlies are going to move that third pick. I think we're going to keep that pick. But the narrative now is that one, as it relates to Boozer, that Boozer he's a solid player. He's a franchise player, but he's not a superstar. So that's one. And then two, there's speculation and rumors suggest that um, Boozer and his camp don't want to be a part of Memphis or don't see Memphis as a fit. Both of those, I don't think the Grizzlies really care about. I just think that with the Grizzlies would be foolish to trade that third pick or move off of that third pick. And I mean, either way, you're either looking at Boozer or you're looking at Darren Peterson. I mean, it's very well possible that Boozer could go one or two. I think the Wizards are probably going AJ. And then the Jazz, who's to say that they don't pick Boozer? What if they do? I mean, what if they do? What if they trade Jaren Jackson or anybody? I mean, you just don't know. I mean, anything can happen. Anything's possible. Who's to say? Boozer won't go one. Because uh, um, Davis, Anthony Davis, is not fully on board to play in Washington. He says that he wants to play. He's down for it, but I mean, they're in a rebuild situation. So, anything is possible between now and the NBA draft. I think the NBA draft will give us some sort of clarity as far as how people feel about each other in the direction that the organization, at least the Jazz and the Wizards, want to go. Where everybody really within the lottery wants to go or the direction they're going. I think the Grizzlies they come away with the potential of getting three really good, solid players. Whether it's Darren Peterson, whether it's Caleb Wilson, whether it's Boozer. I find it interesting though that we haven't heard anything from Caleb Williams as far as working out with the Grizzlies. I don't think he has worked out for the Grizzlies, which I think is interesting. I believe they said he interviewed, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I really don't. But I think during the combine, uh, probably had it. I think he had an interview with the Grizzlies, or at least spoke with them. But we kind of just don't know what's going on because the Grizzlies are so quiet about what their decision could potentially be. So, um, a lot of speculation there, keeping our eyes and ears open to what could potentially go down. Of course, still you know, could be traded. We'll see. Um, in regards to another trade, the Miami Heat are the favorites to land Giannis. It seemed like we've been going around the bush, going around and round and round and round and round in circles, uh, placing Giannis all different kinds of places, different places. Whether it's the Knicks, whether it's staying in Milwaukee, whether it's going out west. I think there's been a trade proposal for him to go to pretty much every team. But apparently, the Miami Heat are the favorites, seem to be the favorites for to land Giannis uh, and pair him with Bam. I like that lineup. I think that's a real solid lineup. It'll be fun to see how that works uh, and how that team could potentially how who they build around those guys. Is Hero part of the deal? Who is picks part of the deal? This are picks even uh, playable at this point with the new tanking rule that is now in effect? Are people going to keep their picks now? Hold on to their picks now that there's a new tanking rule in place. Um, but I thought that was interesting. I think they could definitely contend in the East if a Bam and Giannis pairing uh, be Twin Towers 2.0, 3.0, whatever you want to call. Um, it goes to show, this the parity of the NBA, where any given year, a surprise team or a team that you just didn't think of could find themselves in the finals. Um, that's what I think is great. Last year we're talking about OKC being a dynasty if they stay healthy after they won a championship. Now that they're not in the finals, we're talking about the Spurs and their potential to be in the finals or represent the West every single year because they have Wemby and his 7'5" dominance, uh, just the player that he's going to become, that he's going to develop in. And then you got the Knicks, again, a veteran group that this may be their only opportunity to get to the finals. It's been so long for that historic franchise. Now they have the opportunity to take advantage of it. So the NBA is an exciting um, an exciting place to be right now. Uh, Even looking at the NFL, I mean, Miles Garrett signs is traded to the Rams. I mean, that is going to be really, really interesting for defenses in the AFC North, and just it just granted, I mean, Verse isn't a bad defensive player at all. I mean, he's a Pro Bowler and he's young, but moves like that are just monumental Super Bowl type moves. It just shows that the Rams are all in, and they don't have to necessarily rely on their offense to get them wins, but they can also rely on their defense for sure with Miles Garrett back there. And we talked about AJ Brown going with the New England Patriot, being traded to the New England Patriots, and them just having the Super Bowl appearance coming off a disappointing performance. You got the Eagles, Super Bowl, who were former Super Bowl champions a couple of years ago. They moved on, and despite all the changes that the Philadelphia Eagles have made in their coaching staff and in their play, they continue to be at the top of the NFC East or in contention to win the NFC every single year, at least for the past couple of years. The Dallas Cowboys, they're coming up. The Giants are coming up. It's going to be a very, very, very competitive NFL season across the board. You know, kept Patrick Mahomes. he could potentially play this season. You just never know. So many possibilities. I'm looking forward to the NFL season. Obviously, college football. I think it's setting up to be a great year, quarterback wise. College basketball, which is the final topic I really want to hit on when it comes to the Memphis Tigers. We got all 14 signed commits in, and it's crucial that they are in and signed, and they're working out together as a team, gelling as a team together. Because come October, when the season really starts, they should they should operate and look like a real team, as opposed to just a group of guys, just thrown in together like last year. And it showed in the record. So this year, having started working out together as a team in the month of June, that's a huge win in the offseason for Penny Hardaway and his new staff, um, and just the people around him. This being a make or break year. I think this team, as constructed for the Memphis Tigers, is better. But also the AAC overall roster wise has improved. Charlotte has improved. UAB is going to be better. USF is going to be better. Um, Wichita State is always tough. But the AAC is an old man's league. It's a veteran league. And I guess maybe you could say every conference has its vets because of NIL. You're not going to see a whole lot of young um, starters, young freshmen, I should say, in lineups. Duke, they're playing a mixture of vets, transfers, and rookies and freshmen. Arkansas right now is completely loaded. Um, Kansas is always, good, been good and in the conversation. So NIL has changed the game in so many ways. And for the Tigers, I believe, just a successful season will be just winning the AAC, which is going to be tough enough. And then uh, going to the NCAA tournament, which is supposed to expand from 68 to, I believe, 76 this year. I believe that change is being made this year. So hopefully that makes it easier. The Memphis Tigers non-conference schedule is tough this year. And, add to the ACC conference schedule being tough this year. I think Penny will get a contract extension, and I believe this year we'll see a complete basketball team because they started working out and getting things together in the month of June, as opposed to August, September, where where players were thrown in, signing late and showing up late last year. So a lot of things to be excited about in the sports world. Of course, Coach Huff and the Memphis Tiger football program doing big things with the renovation of Simmons Stadium. Starting out on Fox, playing UNLV on the road. That's going to be fun to watch the Tigers football program on the national stage. just the overall growth of the football program, the rise of the basketball program. There are a lot of positivity, a lot of stories that's coming out of the Memphis Tigers athletic department. Soccer program doing great. Women's basketball with Coach Hayden, just doing awesome. All positive vibes coming out from her program and what she's doing within the community, building relationships. So it's great. It's a whole lot of things to be excited about in Memphis and in sports overall and in general. And I know I overemphasize just the excitement of of sports, but sports is a healthy distraction to the things that are going in our world today. And I'm not going to go deep into the political, locally, nationally, but we all know what's going on. And sports is that bond, is that thing that keeps us, all rooting for the same team. Um, it's a healthy distraction for the things that are going on in the world. So, what I like to say just to close out this podcast is let's just keep it positive. Keep it friendly, show love, love your neighbor as you love yourself, keep up with the golden rule, and enjoy these moments, watching sports, playing sports, get active. Don't just be sitting scrolling on your phone all day. Do what you love to do. Um, Stay positive during these times. Look for positive things during these frustrating times, political times that we are living in right now. Uh, so that's all I got. I'm gonna stop right there. I'm not gonna go deep into political, but you know, I love sports, and I think sports has been a great distraction for me uh, these past couple of months. Um, I'll just leave it at that. But again, um, subscribe, Mike Sports Podcast Show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Um, Looking forward to getting on, talking more NBA Finals with Greg in the next couple of days for our Love of the Game podcast. Um, and we'll probably talk some football as well, uh, possibly this weekend, dropping a podcast. So just be looking out for that. And enjoy the rest of your day. Peace, love, and happiness. Until next time, I'm out.